Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we were actually not planning to do a video at all because we just filmed the latest vlog yesterday. But we got up today, had breakfast, and then realized that we don't actually have that much work on our to-do list, both of us.
And B, the weather is unexpectedly amazing, as you can
look
see.
at this.
Look at this, wow.
So we just started walking and we were sharing some reflective thoughts because we're cutting in on 2 full months living here in Da Nang, Vietnam. So we thought we'd just take you guys along for some really genuine and honest to God reflections upon the challenges, the struggles and the downsides and all of the things that we have gained and all of the wins and all of the beautiful parts of living here. We're gonna share our main 4 struggles, challenges, and our 4 biggest wins with you guys.
So let's go and find a quiet place to sit down so that we can share our thoughts with you. All right, guys, we found a very nice spot in front of one of the beach resorts.
As promised, we're gonna start with some significant struggles and challenges that we had to face and tried our best to overcome in the past 2 months. The first one that comes to my mind is structure. And this is a slightly ironic one because we moved to get away from external structure being forced upon us. So we moved here from a setting and a day-to-day that was heavily defined by things like a full-time job schedule, trying to get an education, finishing a master's thesis, getting a degree, things like that, where there's a lot of adherence to external structures and appointments. And then we moved here and all of that disappeared. And we basically arrived in a setting where we didn't have a single fixed appointment in a day, sometimes in a week. So what sounds like ultimate freedom and also comes with a lot of advantages, which we will talk about later, actually ended up turning into a little bit of a uncontrolled floating through the days and weeks. So we really had to acknowledge that to ourselves and acknowledge that we need a bit of structure and rhythm and make it a big priority to make ourselves adhere to a newfound rhythm schedule, daily and weekly schedule that we had to sit down and set for ourselves. And once we actually did that, and put things in place like a fixed rising hour and a fixed bedtime hour, a fixed time where we would start working, a fixed time where we would go and get our workout in, and also a weekend, planned days off work, off daily tasks, and make it a point to get all of the weekly work done within the other days of the week. Once we mapped out a plan for that and also really made it a priority throughout a week to adhere to that, we started feeling much better and like we had a much better hold on our days and weeks again.
Our second point that we want to bring up is food or nutrition. We come from a very structured nutrition approach. Back in Germany, we would meal prep once a week and then we'd have 2 warm meals a day and always like a choice of 1 or 2 of the same breakfasts every morning. And then we came here and all of that structure around our nutrition was suddenly gone. We could just go out at whatever time, grab whatever food. The choices are unlimited. You can have so many different variations of just 1 noodle soup or just 1 rice dish. There's so many options and it's super affordable. They prepare it so fast. You can go out of your door to a restaurant, sit down, and get your food within 10 minutes.
We quickly realized that this presents some new challenges because we are used to tracking every single thing we eat.
Yeah.
So that is a lot of numbers to crunch in your head about all of the meals you're eating out. Every single time you have to figure out what exactly was in that meal. It is quite easy with the dishes here, but it's still work that you have to do 2 or 3 times a week. And the other thing, which turned out to be almost bigger for us, is that eating out for most of your meals comes with a lot more decision making every single day. Decision making should never be underestimated because it stalls the flow of your day, because now you have to discuss with your partner or yourself, what are you feeling like eating, what do you want, and then where are you going to find it. We realized that this is a suboptimal scenario for us because it is actually adding a lot of stress and uncertainty and more work to our day-to-day.
Those seemingly easy and simple decisions, they just pile up, and then they can blind you and make you feel not very capable of doing anything.
The solution was kind of obvious. It was a funny realization at the same time that the routines that we had in place back in Germany were actually perfect, and instead of trying to find completely new routines here, we should just try to transfer them into our new environment, into our new home. So we circled back to one of our staples for a healthy lifestyle, which is meal prep. Home-cooked meals prepared for the entire week.
Once we started doing that, it came with some other challenges, because the foods that are available here are not the same that you would find in a central European grocery store. And when you want to cook Western foods, finding the ingredients that you need for example, a bake over, are so much harder to find here. It starts with the cheese that you put on top. In Germany, we could go with a light variation of the cheese that had less fat, but here they only have full fat. And back in Germany, we could also go with cottage cheese and lean ground beef. They don't have that here. So how you approach the design of a meal is completely going to change.
Third point that I would like to talk about is, I don't know really how to title this one, but it is what to get where. One thing that is super easy here is to get stuff online. We have Shopee here in Vietnam, which is kind of like the Southeast Asian Amazon, and they have basically anything, and they also have very big supermarkets here that you can go to, but that you can also order online from. So that's very convenient, and it's helped us out a ton, and most of the stuff we got from those places. But you also kind of want to know how to go out and actually get stuff from a shop or from a store, especially if it's just a couple of items. You don't always want to pay the delivery fee. You don't always want to wait a couple of Labor Days for it to get delivered. If you get something delivered, there is a certain percentage of things that might not go exactly as planned or be exactly the thing that you shopped for, which is a point that I'll address later. It's a sub point for this one. So the difficulties of getting something outside in person that I have experienced is that unless you are going to a big supermarket, it is difficult to figure out where to get what you're looking for. For example, if you are looking for a tool to build a piece of furniture, or we were looking for a utility knife, you cannot really use Google Maps and look for a hardware store the way that you can back in Germany, where we used to live. Here, the way it works is there are streets, and a street will be known locally to have shops for certain items, but you cannot look for those streets on Google Maps, so you need local knowledge to know what street to go to look for a certain category of items. That makes it a little bit more difficult and can have you roaming around a little bit deoriented, and that has definitely happened to me a couple of times.
You tried to get this bracelet for me here. Yes. At a jewelry shop, and then you tried to get it engraved, right? It was so hard because we also didn't have the phone mount, and I felt so sorry because you also couldn't share because it was a surprise. So you were completely alone with that.
But you have also run into some trouble of locating a few specific articles since we've lived here.
Yeah, one category that I would like to bring up is definitely skincare, because the beauty standards here are so much different from Western beauty standards. So when it comes to simple things like body lotion or a facial moisturizer, they will use different words to advertise that product here. And the words they will use here are in line with the beauty standards here. When you're looking for body lotion, they might use words like brightening, softening, whitening, exfoliating. And then all of those body lotions will have some whitening or brightening effect to your skin. And for a Western person that is pale and wants to get tan, that is not what you want, because it will remove any tan that you have. But that is just a product that is popular here. So the products that you're gonna find for Western beauty standards that don't cost you a fortune, because don't get me wrong, you can get all of the K-beauty and J-beauty skincare products, but they're gonna be a bit more expensive. So if you're looking for a budget option, you're gonna have to go with the big brands that are available at the grocery stores like Go Market or Mega Market. But those big brands, they are known for using animal testing. So it's hard to find some company that is not supporting that, but is still affordable and in your budget.
As those were the struggles and challenges, now let's move on to all of the positives that this move has brought to us. And the first point on the positive side is actually the same point as the first one on the negative side. And it is the utter freedom and no externally given structure to our lives anymore, which is one of the main points why we decided to make this move and also to switch from employment to self-employment. It came with the struggles that we mentioned, but once we figured that out, it has been pure bliss, because we now get to decide what we want to do when. And if we feel like we spontaneously, if the weather clears up and there's blue skies and sun out, and we want to use that weather to go and spend a few hours by the beach, we can do that. If we feel like we have been sitting for too long, like we have a lot of brain fog, then we can choose to go out for a walk by the river or sit down somewhere in a cute cafe and have a cup of coffee at any point in time, any day. Any night can be a night out if we want to, if we need it, if we feel like we need it. If we feel like the noise of the city is getting too much, we can choose to get out of it and have some quiet time out of town, maybe up on Monkey Mountain on the peninsula. Anytime we want, we can go for a hike if the weather is good and really drive out into the mountainside and be in nature and hear nothing for a while. And that really just has been maybe the biggest blessing, definitely one of our 4 biggest wins of moving.
Number 2 is going to be affordability. We know that everyone is going to say this, but we did not move here to live in a place that is highly affordable. We moved here for cultural identity. We moved here for the people. We had visited this place 2 times before we decided to move. Beside the fact that it is a beautiful place, you just have to acknowledge that it is affordable, which is one of the big perks that this place has.
For example, back in Germany, we could never afford our current home. We now live in a wonderfully designed city house, Vietnam-style city house, so very much different from what you would imagine as a house in Germany. No,
we do not have a garden.
We do not have a front lawn or a backyard, but it has twice the amount of space that our old apartment back in Germany had. It has much higher ceilings, so it feels even more open and spacious. And we were also able to install a home gym with all the equipment, which we would have not been able to afford back in Germany. So it does come with a lot of advantages. You can eat out even in nicer places or have drinks in nicer places without busting your budget.
For reference, if we decide to go out for drinks, we're gonna spend 200K max on a cocktail. When, for example, in Germany, you would spend 20 euros, 17, 20 euros on a cocktail in a nice place.
Speaking of a rooftop bar with a view in the center of the city.
Yeah, so for 200K, we can sit at a nice rooftop location, have delicious tasting cocktails that are going to be more signature style, and enjoy peaceful time together without having to make a reservation 2 months in advance. We can just decide to go there spontaneously, sit, have a nice drink, enjoy the view.
The same also goes for leisure time activities. Like, for example, we like to go and play some pool. In Germany, first of all, we would have to drive a significant amount of ways, so calculate quite a bit of time. And then you're easily out 50 bucks or more, sometimes not even including drinks. Whereas here, we can just walk a couple of minutes to the next really nice pool hall where they have all kinds of beverages available for a cheap price, and we can play 1 to 2 hours of pool plus 1 or 2 beverages for maybe 10 bucks total. 5 to 10 bucks. And that already feels like splurging. As plain as it sounds, things being more affordable simply adds to the quality of the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And we are very grateful that we get to live in this place where we can also afford a few more things with thinking and worrying a little bit less about the cost. Third point is a little bit less tangible, and it is communication. Back in Germany, where we moved from, it is quite difficult to step into interaction or conversation with people outside, or just interact or communicate with people, with strangers outside. You kind of only interact with your circle at work and your friends, or maybe any hobbies or any group activities that you do in your leisure time, where the setting automatically puts you into communication.
Yeah.
But if you're just out on the street, you're not just going to talk to someone at the bus stop, or you're not just going to walk past someone leaving their house and just chat them up. Everybody's going to think you're a total weirdo. And they're going to think, even if you just greet them or smile at them, they're oftentimes going to look at you as if you were trying to harm them, maybe rob them. That has just been a completely 180 turnaround ever since we've moved here. And we knew about this beforehand because we have been here before, and I have a family background in Vietnam, but it's still been astonishing over and over again. We live in a small alley that is directly adjacent to a middle-sized, busy street that is right in the city center, very close to the Dragon Bridge, which leads to the other side of the city, which is the more international beach area. So in our alley, there are only Vietnamese people living in all of the houses, and all of the houses are wall on wall, and the alley is maybe 1 to 2 meters broad. So you are looking into your neighbor's
living room. Yeah.
And everyone has their gates open all day. So you're gonna lock eyes with people, and opposite to Germany or to many countries in the West, people don't look away. They will keep looking, and they will check if you want to step into interaction. They will smile at you. If we walk every single time we walk through the alley, we will have a short interaction with someone, just saying hello, just maybe saying, are you going out to eat? Yes, we're going out to eat. Or have you eaten yet? No, we're actually going to eat this and that now. So even though we barely speak any Vietnamese, and we're definitely trying to change that, people are trying to make conversation to us, and they're happy about every single bit of conversation that we can give to them. And that just puts you into a light, happy mood. Every time you get to leave the alley. So from all the way back in the alley, the 1 minute that it takes to walk to the end of the alley to turn to the big street,
You're gonna get so many smiles.
we're always turning from in the mornings from slightly sleepy to happy and ready for the day, just through these small interactions.
Yeah.
And it continues like that into the day, into the outside. And that leads to the next point, which you were saying about how you can make things happen if you have a problem with something.
Yeah, you can, like Pascal said, it's so easy to just talk to people. And that also goes for how things are being approached here. For example, if you have a problem, let's say with a delivery that you have placed at a grocery store, you can just text the number on Yalo and someone will reply to you, and you can ask the delivery guy to come back at a different time by just shooting him a message on Yalo. So it's so much easier to just talk to people to solve an issue or to make things slightly more convenient for you. Where we come from, you'd always have to adhere to a very laid out process that would take some more time, and then you were not so sure of the outcome, and things might not be resolved as fast as they could have been if you would have just been able to talk to someone very fast.
So availability is super high, flexibility is super high, and also the readiness to make changes and fix things and make improvements is also very high. And for us, once we have consciously shifted our mindset a little bit and adjusted to this different approach, it has been really, really good, and we have been enjoying this way of doing things a lot.
Okay, that brings us to our last point, which is the biggest one. You cannot ignore this. We live in an amazing city. We have the beach right here, we have mountains, we have the river. We are free to do anything at any time because, like we mentioned before, everything is super available and affordable. So what we really enjoy is just going on a walk along the river, going out in the evening, seeing the many, many beautiful lights along the river promenade, going to the beach, having some quiet. There are a million ways you can spend your time, and there are so many ways for you to wind down in your day. So we have visited the city before twice. We knew what we were gonna move into, but it surprises us more and more the longer we stay here. We seem to never get tired of it. There are so many things to explore, so many new things to see, and we explore more and more every week. One other big positive side is that you can just go out in the middle of the night and it won't be weird. Someone will always be outside. There will be couples sitting on benches in the parks, just people hanging out on a walking bridge. You can go out at 11 p.m., you can go out at 1 a.m. in the middle of the night, and you're gonna meet other people, and it won't be weird for you to walk around, and you're not gonna feel lonely, you're not gonna feel scared. Even for me, I am completely comfortable just walking along the river promenade when the lights are out because there's so many other people walking there.
People living here like us have been either saying to stop advertising this place because too many people are coming in because it's so awesome, or I have also read for whatever reason that it is overrated, but we're not here to lie to you. There is an endless stretch of beach right along the city where you can go for as long of a walk as you want to. There are smaller hidden beaches along the peninsula that make you feel like you moved from the city to
an island.
A tropical island. There is a river that splits the city in half that has beautiful walkable promenades with lots of restaurants, bars, flowers, and fun lights on both sides. There are mountains to 3 sides of the city that all have, some have huge tourist attractions. Some have waterfalls, some have monkeys, and delicious street food, fresh fruit, delicious coffee creations that keep surprising you, that are delicious when they sound weird, like egg coffee, or avocado coffee. Trust us.
They're good.
And the city which is beautiful by the day because the sun is almost always out. It comes to life at night. It lights up. There are beautiful lights everywhere. And as soon as you're somewhere you have a little bit of a view, it's just pretty. So there really is something for everyone here. And we cannot recommend it anymore. And we are eternally and endlessly grateful to be living here for however long it may be. There have been real struggles and real challenges that we have had to overcome the past 2 months of living here, but we have already gained so much. We have already had so many amazing experiences, and we have already built a beautiful life here, and we are hoping that we will be lucky enough to be allowed to keep building it and take you guys along for the ride. If you have anything that you are specifically interested in, that you would like us to share a bit more about with you, let us know. In the description, we have the link where you can buy us one of these delicious egg or avocado coffees.
We're Svenja and Pascal, health and fitness coaches that moved from Germany to beautiful Da Nang. And if you enjoyed this video or any other of our videos, leave us a like, maybe subscribe, and definitely comment if one of the points that we mentioned resonate with you.
We really appreciate you watching, and catch you guys in the next one.